Naseem Saeed. I'm joined by VishEval today, the director of Held by the Past. VishEval, it's an honor to be here.
Thank you, Naseem.
So VishEval, what were the first steps into making the film?
So, our first task was to find out which film genre to choose from. To do this, we carried out research on a diverse number of films with a variety of genres, such as Black Hawk, which is an action film we looked at. In between is was comedy. In between is two, sorry. The Purge, which is a horror. The Town was a crime film we looked at. And The Hunger... Black Hawk Down, I'm sorry, okay. The Hunger Games, which was... no, not The Hunger Games, Star Trek, which was a good sci-fi trilogy we looked at. So as you can see, to come up with the idea of our teaser trailer, which we produced, we not only looked at action, but we also analysed a variety of other genres too. We researched these films by watching trailers of them on YouTube, and we took specific notes on them to later analyse their background information of the film, what we liked about the film, annotated the conventions and connotations, and even looked at the differences for comparison using our media terminology and writing skills. Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, and other review sites are also very useful to find out more about the films themselves, such as the genre, the plot, comments, a star rating, actors, directors, release dates, production and distribution companies, and the gross.
How do you work out which genre you use for your teaser trailer?
Okay, so we also found a section in IMDb called "The People Who Like This Film Also Liked." It would recommend you other films of genres which people tend to enjoy in groups. So we looked at a crime action like Kill Bill. We would also find films of genres such as Sin City, which is also a thriller. We decided to try fit in some conventions of that genre, making it enjoyable while expanding the traditional audiences of the genre, while also keeping the crime action lovers even more satisfied, as they've also watched the thriller and some of its conventions. This is why we've decided to include repetitive music, which sounds forceful, meaning it connotes to frustration, while also building anticipation and suspense for the same genre. This helped us find success in a variety of genres. We questioned the production difficulty, the amount of budget required, and whether or not we will be able to produce them. For example, we found that a film trailer of a sci-fi genre was relatively expensive to produce compared to crime, as a lot of budget and skill is required to produce the CGI. For instance, when trying them to make the setting different than Earth, we found, and when we would try putting together the mise-en-scène and conventions of a sci-fi genre, we found the crime genre would be an excellent genre as the conventions it relies on mostly is the use of diverse camera shots, sound and mise-en-scène. Also the narrative, which meant it would require more cinematography skills rather than the budget, which as a media student we picked up on over the analysis of films in lesson, TV drama, and analysis and exam practice. This was useful as we didn't have a lot of money to invest into our teaser trailer. After looking at horror, we thought we could do this genre, although we didn't necessarily enjoy the genre and haven't watched a lot of horror film as much we have watched in action and crime. So we rather stick to something that's more in our expertise.
Oh, okay. Did you use the internet in order to get opinions from other people instead of just researching everything about the genre and putting it together?
We used other sites such as Facebook and SurveyMonkey to make a questionnaire in order to find out our audience, their age group, and what conventions, connotations, themes, and effects they demanded. This greatly impacted our final teaser trailer, as a lot of what we had researched about our final genre misses out some things which the audience really wanted. For example, after our research we found that the teaser trailers are generally 45 seconds, but after our survey we found out that the audience wanted 1 minute and 30 seconds, as they wanted a little bit more revealed, or they required more time to be sucked into the film's environment. We used social networking, such as Facebook, in order to share our questionnaire with the people we knew. This allowed us to have access to a larger and diverse sample to receive feedback from, therefore making our results more reliable. After conducting the survey, we used our results in order to include all the elements in our trailer demanded by the audience. With this, we had also learned about what components would be required for all future action films in order to satisfy our audience. For this reason, our trailer was constructed to fit the genre we had included in fit our genre. We had included all or the majority of the conventions from the action film genre and crime, though the use of mise-en-scène, sound, camera effects, and composition and editing through the use of that. Through post-production with our own theme song or soundtrack, something like what James Bond or the A-Team has. This is because the type of music you use in a production says a lot about the film, and the audience can relate to the genre easily. We had also challenged our crime subgenre, as we had even met a few elements from the thriller genre, because our research suggested that the audience which enjoyed a crime action film also enjoyed a thriller. We did this by creating suspense through the trailer and kept the dialogue at a minimum to induce further thrill through the music, whilst a crime film would generally have more dialogues.
So what kind of equipment did you use in your production, and how were they used?
We've used a variety of equipment, essential ones such as a HD camera. We've used a Nikon D3100, which can record at an outstanding 1080p, which is optimum for YouTube, where we'd publish our trailer. We adjusted settings such as the aperture for filming under darker environments, like in the corridor, and ISO for decreasing the shutter speed in order to increase the exposure and light entering the lens. This helped us get a shot with Cliff in London, walking very fast, and you could see shaky blurred lines or lights being distorted, which helped represent vigorous motions, helping us connect to an action film genre. We had also used focus and composition skills in order to construct shots which helped us meet our crime convention. For example, we had the camera slowly zoom in towards the protagonist while focusing on her, and we also zoomed out with the camera lens and dollied backwards in order to give a confusing and elusive shot. This shot represents vulnerability and follows the stereotypes of how intelligent people who do crime investigations are the smart ones, are generally less physically skilled compared to the heavy-duty fighting police, which Cliff is not. Also, with Cliff having his vulnerable look and the protagonist being somebody who can be seen as vulnerable and weaker towards the antagonist and the audience, we are also challenging an element of action, as they are typically expected of heavy muscle tone bodybuilders in the Expandable series. Another piece of equipment we used was a tripod, which allowed us to place the camera in one location and position the audience's perspective. We also used this to get a smoother glide on when we used shots where the camera angle must move, such as the tracking or panning. When we tried doing these without the tripod, the camera was too shaky, which brought us to our next technique, which was done deliberately. We decided that we would use a freehand camera for a lot of the scenes, as it would introduce a variety of codes from a diverse selection of genres. For example, in our scene with the cover was pulled off of a kidnapped and bloodied up organization leader, we had a low angle with a natural shake in order to give the documentary look, which would make the audience feel as if they're there to pick up a specific behavior, which is an element of crime. While there was also a shot where a smoke grenade was thrown, and we still used a shaky camera as it would show motion and action being taken place. Also putting the audience's